Well, gun guy here. Today's video I'm going to do on a Ruger Mark II 22 caliber semi-automatic pistol, 22 long rifle. It appears in a lot of videos. I use it for comparative recoil for if I do a handgun video. It's basically a 22 target pistol, 5-inch barrel. This particular example was made in 1989. Fires the 22 caliber long rifle cartridge, which has been around since 1887. It's rim fire. For those that don't know what that means, the priming compound is coated on the inside of the rim. Firing pin strikes the edge of the cartridge and crushes the rim and ignites the cartridge, as opposed to centerfire cartridges. A little brief history on the cartridge. It was developed from the BB cap, the 22 short, the 22 long, from about the 1850s, black powder era. This cartridge came out was introduced by the J. Stevens Firearms Company in 1887, I think it was. And I'm unsure if it was smokeless from the beginning or it went black powder and then transitioned. But it became immensely popular. The usual bullets have been loaded in this thing from 30 grains to 60 grains in weight. The most common ones are the 40 grain, say 36 to 40 grain. Those are the most common bullet weights you're going to find. CCI Stinger, they make 32 grain bullets and some 30 grain bullets. The 60 grains were made by Aguila. I have some of that stuff laying around, subsonic. But fired out of a pistol, on this CCI Mini Mag, it says 1,235 feet a second, which would be supersonic out of a rifle. Out of a handgun, none of these 22s are going to breach 1,100 feet a second. The speed of sound at sea level is about 1,120 feet a second. 2.5 billion rounds are made every year of the 22 long rifle. It's relatively inexpensive compared to other cartridges. It used to be super inexpensive, but something that's considered semi-premium, like the CCI Mini Mag, costs about 10 cents a shot. You can get the bulk, the 325 round, Federal boxes or the Winchester bulk packs in like a Walmart, and you get them for maybe 6 cents a shot, 7 cents a shot. Extremely cheap to practice with. Effective range out of a rifle, sighted properly, say about 75 yards. You zero it is 150 yards, 22 long rifle. Pests and small pest environments and such. Out of a handgun, maybe 50 yards. It operates, 22 caliber, 223 or 224 thousandths of an inch projectile, which is important because they do make conversion kits for like the AR-15, and the 22s will fire out of an AR-15, the swapping of just 2 parts. 24,000 PSI, it has a dangerous range of a mile. About 2,000 yards this bullet will carry if you fire it at about 35 degrees off the horizon, the angle. It's probably killed more people than you can possibly imagine in its 150-year history, either by accident or on purpose. In my police career, I saw quite a few homicides, people killed with the 22 long rifle. For the pistol, this is the gun, well actually a Mark I, which had a skinny barrel, same gun, that William Ruger started his firearms company in 1949. His design, he took I think he had a couple of World War II Japanese Nambu pistols, looks similar to this. I think he took the bolt operation from the Nambu, because as 22s go, this is very unusual, and that's the bolt is completely enclosed in the receiver, kind of like a 22 rifle. He made some different, adaptations, and put a grip angle on it like the German Luger, about the same angle. And from a distance, it looks kind of like a German Luger, and A good friend of his who happened to be wealthy became one of his investors, Sturm. I think his name was Alex Sturm. And he invested in a company. They started producing these pistols, the Mark 1. The Model 1, I think they called it the standard 22 pistol back then in 1949. Since then, about 3 million of these have been made in the various different runs. The Mark II, they're just slight engineering improvements from each pistol. But the first one the Mark I ran from 49 to 82. This came out in 82. This ran until 2005. So 33 years for the first, like 26 years for the second, Mark II. Mark II introduced heavy barrels, stainless steel. These came in different barrel lengths from 4.5, I think, all the way up to 10 inches. You get a nice balance, the 5-inch model here, nice adjustable sights. All the bull barrel guns, or heavy barrel guns, have adjustable sights. Some of the pencil barrel guns have, fixed sights. Very nice two-wheeler machined receiver and barrel. And I think the grip frame was sheet metal stampings that they welded and polished, two halves together. It's got the silver Ruger Eagle. Ruger had originally a red eagle. His partner Sturm there was into like family crests and stuff, and he designed the Ruger Eagle, but it was red. But after his death, only 2 or 3 years after the company started, in memoriam, Bill Ruger made the eagle black and silver as a tribute to his friend. Ruger, very fine engineer and innovator, and Ruger's a good firearm company. Like all the firearm companies, great firearm companies, they were based in New England, Massachusetts, Connecticut. In the last 20, 30 years, due to the hostile nature of the political climate in them states, all the great firearm manufacturers have basically fled to other states. I think Ruger is now in Arizona, but they were in Southport, Connecticut for decades, and many fine firearm companies have left. The Navy SEALs used a version of this that was integrally suppressed, on a shorter barrel with a suppressor built in. I guess they used it for pest elimination. They list the SEALs list the effective range of this is around 70 meters, which would be 77 yards. And yes, I have plinked my steel plates out at 80 yards and 90 yards with this. You just gotta figure your hold and what ammo you're using, because they're gonna have different impacts. I did disassembly, reassembly separate. I'll clip it into this film here. If you've never taken one of these apart, due to the slight difficulty putting them back together, a lot of people don't, they were scared to, let me get rid of them, or they buy one, and then the first time they have to clean it, they get frustrated trying to put it back together. Just takes a little bit of practice. It's really not that hard. They come apart easy enough, but the video is about 5 minutes. How to take it apart, how to put it back together, and you got to wiggle the little hammer strut just right to put it back together. The trigger pull on this, 3 3/4 pounds. I had the trigger pull gauge on it before. Like I said, 3 million of these have been made. This 5-inch model has a nice balance, and the P08 Luger angled frame fits the hand nice. And actually the Glock 17, cast and Glock copied that grip angle also for the Glock. Some people like it, some people don't. It's a personal thing, personal preference thing. But I've had this over 30 years. I traded my second service firearm was a Smith & Wesson 659 9mm, and I switched to the Glock. I didn't like the Smith at all, and I traded it at the local gun shop for this. This is only a couple of years old. Somebody bought it, shot it, went to clean it. They got frustrated and they traded it in. I got it for a good deal, and got rid of the Smith that I didn't like. I do the standard. I do an accuracy target. The 2 ammunitions I got here: Winchester 36 grain hollow point and 40 grain Full Metal Jacket mini mags, CCI. CCI makes good ammo, 22 ammo. 20 yards offhand. I'll do a chronograph. I'll do the terminal effects test. My cousin, this is her only firearm, so can you use it for self-defense? Yes. Is it ideal? No, but if you can accurately hit something with this, 10 shots out of this is going to be far more effective than 6 misses with a 44 Magnum. So, but is it ideal? When I do the terminal effects, I usually do 1 shot. I'm going to do 4. I'll do two of these hollow points mixed in with the 2 Full Metal Jackets. 6 inches of water, 3/4 inch piece of plywood, another jug of water. I'll probably need 3 jugs of water, 2 jugs of water, and fire rapid succession. So all the bullets are basically hitting within a second or so, like you would if in a self-defense situation. But easy to fire 5 shots very fast and very accurately at I'd say inside the house ranges, 10 yards or less. I'll plink some steel plates and some cans just to show the gun in operation, and then I'll come back for a little summary at the end. So we'll get to the shooting. All right, this is how to disassemble and reassemble a Ruger Mark 1, 2, or 3 pistol. The Mark 1 was started in 1949, and the Mark 3 ended in 2005 or so, but they all come apart the same. There's just minor differences between 3 different variations. Make sure the gun's clear. You're going to have to pull the trigger to disassemble it. So point in the safe direction, pull the trigger. On the rear of the frame, there's a little lever here. You need a little pick or something to pop it open, but it's the mainspring takedown pin part of the firearm. And it's a little hard grabbing sometimes. Alright. Once you pull this lever out, the mainspring housing comes undone. This is the pin that goes through the receiver and the bolt and holds the whole gun together. So you pull down. Sometimes it's a little stiff. There we go. Sometimes it takes a little bit of force. That's the pin that holds the gun together. And this is the where the strut on the rear of the hammer goes in, the mainspring portion. And taking the gun apart is really not that hard. Once you pull that lever out, I usually use a mallet to tap the grip frame off the receiver to the rear. And grip frame will separate from the receiver. Receiver is cylindrical, bolt comes out the rear. Receiver's all machined. This little recess here, square recess, is what connects to the grip frame and locks them together when you put the gun back together. This is the hammer. The internals of, once you take the grip frame apart, it's easy to access. That's the hammer in the fired position. This little piece here on the rear of the hammer strut, is the hard part of putting this gun together. It goes down through the frame in the slot here, and you have to have the hammer just right to reassemble the gun. There's the hole where this the locking pin goes through, and same with the bolt. This pin goes right through. Okay, what locks it is the mainspring assembly on the bolt. The pin goes right through here, out through the top of the receiver. This is the operating spring, and this is a straight blowback weapon. To put it back together, I usually put the bolt in first. You gotta kind of hold it, and then get the hammer in the upward position, like that. Sit the two halves together. I usually push the grip frame down, muzzle down on a soft surface. The two halves are together now. Now comes to the fun part. You gotta kind of wiggle the gun like this to put the locking pin and main spring assembly in a pistol. And this is always the part that bedevils everyone. And if the hammer is not just right, it won't seat. If you did it right, you'll see some spring tension here. So when you push in and lock this lever, now if the bolt only opens about that far, you didn't get the hammer strut in the mainspring housing. It's easy to take apart, easy to clean. That's the hardest part about putting it together. That'll be it for the disassembly for cleaning and reassembly of the Ruger Mark 1, 2, and 3 pistols. Okay, chronograph. I'm going to do 2 sets of 5. First up will be this 35-year-old Winchester 36 grain hollow point. I was getting some duds from the last box. It says varmint and small game. I thought it was stored all right, but who knows. Charge the gun. Gotta turn the other camera on. The chronograph. Okay. $1,018, $1,058, $1,067, $1,068, and $1,090. Okay. Next up, the CCI Mini Mag, 40 grain copper plated bullet. Just change the string. $1,071, $1,080, $1,061, $1,095, and $1,061. So those are 2 chronographs with the 2 different ammunitions. That's about typical for pistol velocities. So on to the next demo, the accuracy. Okay, I'm going to do 20 yards offhand here. There's 6 aiming points on that target, splatter target. I'm going to do the top left and the bottom left. The first up will be the Winchester 36 grain hollow point, and the bottom will be the CCI. And see how the groups are, or point of impact, point of aim, any shift. Yeah, the sun is blinding me, so I'm gonna make sure I'm in the frame here. Let's try the CCI, bottom left. Okay, let me go pause this and go check that out. Yeah, the Winchester shot nice and tight. I had one flyer. It was a little all over the place with the CCI. That may have been me, so I'm going to take my time here. Just try another 5 at the bottom left target. I think I'll do a 6 o'clock hold on it. All right, let's check that out. Yeah, that was me the first shot. I must have been wiggling, but it tightened up there. This is a Winchester. That was a flyer. That's obviously me. But the 20 yards, it's not bad offhand. Since I'm out here, I think I'll do the terminal effect test next, and then I'll go in the woods and do plink the plates. Okay, you're gonna do a little quick terminal effects test. If you're using this in the defensive roll, you got 4 shots. I'm going to fire rapidly into the first water jug. 36 grain Winchester hollow point, a 40 grain copper plated CCI, a Winchester hollow point, and CCI 40 grain. And I'll bring the camera back on me. I'm going to set the other one running in slow motion and take the shots. Okay. Okay, let me pause this, clean it up. Okay, interesting result. First jug, they all ended in close pattern here and shredded the back. All 4 hit the plywood. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are probably the CCIs and probably the hollow points. But surprisingly, 1 stuck in the wood, 1 exited, and it knocked all this wood out. So this is a fresh piece of plywood. I recovered 2. 1 was in the first jug, and 1 was in the. There's actually a 3rd one in that jug that's leaking there. That went through the plywood and fully expanded. I can't tell you what these were, if they were the hollow points or the CCI mini mags. Both traveling roughly the same velocity. There's the entrance hole after I went through the plywood in the second water jug. And yeah, it's one of the mini mags, I could see. Yep, it's pretty much intact. So, good result for the 22. I mean, those are the 2, I guess, Winchester hollow points, fully expanded. And these being full metal jacket or, you know, ball type 22s, they penetrated more than the hollow point, as was intended. So, Is it ideal for a self-defense situation? No. Will it get the job done? I'm going to venture to say, all my police career, so a lot of people killed with .22 long rifle over the decades. Over the almost century and a half it's been around, it's killed quite a few people. Is it a man stopper? No, it is not. But well-placed shots will get the job done. Like I said, Navy SEALs use that pistol suppressed for eliminating pests. So we'll go into the shooting in the steel plates and see what we can record out there. Let me clean this up and on to the next thing. The Ruger Mark II. I got plates about 25, 50, 80. Let's see how far out I can go with it. The other camera's focused downrange, and this will be on the ejection side. You can see the gun cycling and functioning. That's the 50. Let's see the 80. Go through 22 quick. Put another mag through it. That's the 80 yard. Try 100. Go back to the 50. Gotta fade a fire. That's this Winchester. Had that happen the other day. See if it laid off. Just a dud. You get that sometimes with .22 long rifle, especially if it's sitting around a while. And that's our little shooting steel demonstration. I got one more can of something filled with, it's full, shaving cream, but I'm going to get back a little further. Like all the cans all day long. Back a little further. There's nothing left in there. this, I'll try this steel plate right here. Hitting the 50 yard. You try 80. Yep. Hitting 80 yards, no problem. I think the seals listed this pistol at effective range of 70 meters. That's about right. That's a 50. City 80. Go through 22 quick. Go to the back through. That's the 80 yard. Try 100. Back to the 50. Long plates, you can barely hit them when it hits. You barely hear it, I should say, when it hits. You just got to figure your hold at distance. I tried 100. No dice. I've seen it splashing around it. Going for a little summary, and that'll be it on a fine little Ruger Mark II. This one was made in 1989, and I got it, I think, 1993 or 4. So, good little pistol. Okay, back for my little recap on the Ruger Mark II 22 caliber semi-automatic pistol. This one was made in 1989. In the disassembly portion, I did a separate video, but I inserted it into the introduction. The Mark I, 1949 to 1982. The Mark II, 82 to 2005. And the Mark III, 2006 to 16. So basically from 1949 to 2016, they all come apart the same way. After 2016, they did an engineering change, and they come out to Mark IV, which is a lot easier to take apart and clean. This is not real difficult once you play around with it. It does get annoying though, at times, especially when you're trying to reassemble it. The Mark I had, and the Mark II have a heel-mounted European style magazine release. The Mark III has the magazine release up on the upper left side of the grip frame. Those are the only changes. The change between the Mark I and Mark II is that the Mark II has a last shot magazine hole open. The Mark I didn't. Very minor differences other than that. But basically it is the pistol that built Ruger. Did the chronograph. The glare was too much on the close-up camera. You couldn't see the numbers, so I didn't include it. I called out the velocities, but they were all sub 1100 feet per second. 1050 to 1080 feet per second. With the velocities, which are subsonic. So if you live in a suppressor state and you have a suppressor, the standard velocity ammo would do the trick in your suppressor with the supersonic bullet crack. The very accurate, reliable pistol. Did the accuracy test, basically 20 yards offhand. This was the Winchester, nice tight group. I had one flyer here. The CCI, that was my bad. I started drifting. I refired it, and it tightened up in the middle there. And the gun will probably shoot better than I can shoot it. And that's what most guns. Old hands, old eyes. But they're pleasure to shoot, easy to teach a kid to shoot, and relatively inexpensive to shoot, and keep up with your practice. Did the thermal effects test. I got all 3 bullets. Let me see if I can put on something. Make it easier to see. 2 hollow points. They flatten nicely. They struck and put pretty good divots in the plywood. The 2 full metal jacket 40 grain CCIs went through the water jug and through the plywood. One went through into the next water jug. I recovered this out of the water jug number 2. And the other projectile was stuck deep in the plywood and really digging it out. But a good result if you had to use that in a defensive role. Adequate penetration, and go through a large bone. Obviously, if you had the plywood before the water, they're going to punch cleanly through all of them through the 3/4 inch piece of plywood, and then into the liquid. Like I said, it's primarily a target plinking pistol, not a defensive tool, but all firearms are tools, and they can be their roles can shift. And like I said in the intro, the Navy SEALs use this for elimination of 2-legged pests. Suppressed, silenced. Plinking the steel, I was plinking the steel plates out to 80 yards with this. I was hitting, yeah, I missed and hit. Once you get your hold, how high to hold on a plate, or a little left or right, it was right on the money. So no problem, especially hitting a 50-yard torso, the small torso. Torso's only about that wide, that tall. So it's fun to do, fun to shoot the plinking. Did the hostage target with the little spinner that goes back and forth around the head. You could shoot that all day from 10 yards away. Ping, 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 ping. Well, I did miss 1 shot with it, but that's me, not the gun. And that's about all I have for our little video today on the Ruger Mark II 22 pistol. There's 3 million of these floating around. You may find one in a used guns shop or a store and get a pretty good deal on it, because people are intimidated taking it apart and cleaning it. And if you practice it a few times, it's really not that bad. You gotta wiggle things, and it's like putting a little bit of puzzle, reassembling the gun. Coming apart is really not that hard, but it is so nicely fitted. Everything is tight. There's nothing loose on this gun, so you gotta tap the grip frame off it, because it is very tight fitting. With that, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm Old Gun Guy. Have a good day.